Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Baldur's Gate 3, dem Honor Mode. Ja, ich habe gerade geguckt, eigentlich müssten wir noch gar nicht rasten, aber wir machen das jetzt einfach.
Sorore surge, testis esto pacti me. Come, sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in Beator.
Notum sit in Beator.
Holy hells.
Stellt mich bitte euren Freunden vor.
Fina, Cirrus, arbiters for the hells, exemplars of justice.
Your parasite links with Wylls, and your memories flow into him. He sees his father's flight from Worm's Rock, and hears Mizora's words to you.
Shit. Where did Gortash send my father? How do I save him?
Sisters,
Infernos contractus te vocamus. Infernos contractus te vocamus. Infernos contractus te vocamus.
your contract, Will. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable. Yet no contract is ended without sacrifice, Will. The cost must be paid. Will Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the Archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldur's Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel! I won't let her take Will.
Silence, Karlak.
Mizora, you asshole!
Choose.
Was wird aus Wills Kräften, wenn den Pakt bricht?
Addendum F. The Absolute must be avenged for the Soulbinder's detention at Moonrise. The Soulbearer retains his gifts until such time as the Absolute is slain.
Gehen wir beim letzten Mal.
You damned wretch. Do it then. Claim my soul for Zariel. Keep my father safe.
Fiat Ita.
Fiat ita. Anima ad beator.
got a new mission, pup. Go save your father. He's locked in a very nasty place. Gortash's secret command center and prison. Lucky for you, I know the way in. I'll mark your map. After all, a deal's a deal. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
Okay. Hammer. Kleines Arschloch.
I brought my own paring knife. Now I just need some ingredients, and I'm gonna make something really good, I promise.
Dampfiger Absurd, der den Hirnstamm gründlich durchschüttelt. Warum ist das nicht bei Lagervorrat? Ne. Okay.
Always nice to be wanted.
Indolence breeds madness.
Mal was Neues lesen selber. Ist in Ordnung.
Let's move.
Time and again, Wyll's plight reinforces my decision not to pursue the path of a warlock. Wyll's father owes him gratitude. I hope for his sake Ravengard is gracious enough to offer it, given how much it cost. Would that I could, but your entourage is full. You'll need to make room for me first. Back in the thick of things at last. Oh, how exciting.
Exakt. So, was hast du?
Will gave up freedom to save his father. I will never understand people like that.
Tja. Garlach.
I can't believe Will's given up his soul to Zariel. For a father he fell out with ages ago. There's such a thing as being too good. Someone ought to tell Will Ravengard.
Keiner von euch irgendwas?
That preening vulture seems intent on haunting our camp. I suppose we shall find out if her kind sleep, and how heavily. Will is a good man. And that is exactly what his devil will use to bind him. In as many ways as she knows how. A man might twist himself into something else just to escape that collar. But I have no such fears for the blade.
Habt ihr noch einmal überlegt, wie wir Minsk finden können?
I have. And while I do not love my conclusion, that does nothing to change it. The Harpers are the city's best information network. With them out of action, we shall have to fall back on second best. Nine Fingers Keen.
Ihr sagt das, als sollte es mir etwas sagen.
Oh, if it does not, you have led a very virtuous life indeed. Nine Fingers Keen controls the guild, which in turn controls every criminal racket from Heapside to the High Hall. Nothing happens in this city that she doesn't hear of, sooner or later. How hospitable she will be to a Harper that comes begging to her guild hall, we will find out. Perhaps I will let you do the talking. Ask it.
Was könnt ihr mir über die Hafner erzählen?
I've learned not to unpick the legends so many have woven around our name. Seeing the hope die in a romantic's eyes, it is only funny the first few dozen times. Some call the Harpers heroes. Others, petty meddlers who cannot help but stick their nose into every conflict they stumble across. The truth is in there somewhere. We try to work towards a common balance. If every other faction finds us equally annoying, that is probably a sign that we are succeeding.
Die Leute begreifen doch gewiss, dass die Hafner für das Gute kämpfen.
Ha! No. No, thank you. Let the wiser members of my order wrinkle their brows over that particular phrase. In all my years fighting for the Harpers, I am still never certain what the greater good means. I've learned to be content with, well, that was not so bad as it might have been.
Wie seid ihr bei den Hafnern gelandet?
I will not bore you with a long tale. The short. I was born to a high family in Tedir. I remember little except that when my family fell, they fell far and fast. I learned young what fear and hunger make desperate people do. I learned to do some of it myself even. Until a roving circle of hedge druids found me. They raised me in the wild. But when it became clear I was, perhaps not suited to a life of idle reflection, I was sent to the Harpers. To do. They showed me how to fight with sword, as well as spell, and gave me ample causes to wield them for. If I was not always the truest believer in every cause, well, I fell in love with someone who was. And that is almost the same thing.
Wollt ihr mir mehr über diese Person berichten, die ihr geliebt habt?
No, not really.
Okay. Klingt, als hättet ihr und die Hafner eine komplizierte Geschichte.
You might say that. I left their service and swore never to return. Multiple times, if I recall. It is easy to get tired of the intrigue. The high causes shrouded in secrecy. I thought I might find another way to be of use to the world. And for a time I did. But my comrades would use a rather irritating phrase. A harper never leaves the chorus. She simply goes to spread the song. Meaning that whatever cause I turned my hand to, there I would find them. Harpers, stuffed with their own virtue, but always there. Always trying to help. So I returned to the fold. Return to the city. Eventually they hung a title around my neck. High Harper. And I still do not know how to play one. If I wanted to spare Geraldus the same headaches, well, you now know why I needed him to be sure this is the life he wants. But you're staring. Which means the tadpole has finally eaten your brain. Or have I been talking too much? Either way, time to move, no?
Ihr habt schon einmal im Tempel des Baal gekämpft. Würdet ihr ihn wiederfinden?
You speak of a battle more than a century past. Baal's minions led us through a maze in the Undercity, older than Baldur's Gate itself. We paid little mind to the path ahead, let alone how we might return, or that we would return at all. Still, the Undercity shifts. We might search down there. Or better yet, find a Baalist to lead us.
The devil Mizora has made herself quite at home, hasn't she? Do make her feel as unwelcome as you can.
Was? Ach, unwillkommen, okay.
I'm listening.
Kratzer.
The dog wags his tail, a small bag clenched between his teeth.
Ja, gib mal her.
He gives in and surrenders his find to you.
Trank des sprechenden Tieren.
Scratch's tongue lolls out happily, his tail wagging even faster.
This city has one too many self-righteous raven guards. I would have preferred Will cut his family ties.
Ihr seid angespannt. Das liegt vermutlich an Orens Einfluss.
I am not on edge. I am alert, as you should be too. Orin could be anywhere. Could be anyone.
Beunruhigend. Was schlagt ihr vor?
We need to watch over each other. Now, more than ever.
Okay. Warum seid ihr für ein Bündnis mit Grotash?
He is the only authority figure in Baldur's Gate worth a damn. Even as the Elder Brain tears at the foundations of the city, he stands strong and looks for solutions. Better for us to be a solution rather than a problem for his steel watch to scrape off the street. I am glad you recognized the benefits of that approach. If he proves troublesome, we can always kill him later, when his guard is down.
Seid ihr zum ersten Mal in der Stadt?
Yes. I only know it through history books and hearsay. A city of murder, and grief. It is already living up to the legend.
Ich interessiere mich für Menzoberranzan. Erzählt mir mehr über eure Heimat.
From the still, dark waters of Lake Donegarten to the black academies of Tierbresh, it is a city of wonders and terror. But it is not my home anymore. If I were to return, I would be denied all of its wonders and shown only the terror.
Aha. Wie war euer Leben dort?
I am a daughter of Menzoberranzan's most ancient and powerful house, the Bainray. I lived a life of privilege and danger. My home was at the tallest point of Cuel Arzol, the place of the nobles, a plateau high above the city's sprawl. I enjoyed every luxury, whether harvested in the Underdark or stolen from the surface, and I survived my first assassination attempt while I still suckled at my mother's breast. I tasted her blood that day. She covered my body with her own, and a blade bit deep into her chest, almost puncturing her heart. When I came of age, she tried to take my life herself, and I gave her fresh scars to match those she earned protecting me.
Lebt sie noch?
I expect so. If the world were to end, I think my mother would survive to rule over the ruins.
Kein Wunder, dass es euch schwerfällt, neue Freundschaften zu schließen. Schließlich trachtete euch die eigene Mutter nach dem Leben.
She taught me to be resilient and to guard my heart from those who cannot be trusted, literally and figuratively. When I choose to let somebody close, I do not do so lightly. That gives a great depth of meaning to the bonds I do share.
I like you. Was wisst ihr über Grotash?
He is rather fond of himself. If he truly intends to be the savior of Baldur's Gate, perhaps he has reason to be.
Die größte Bedrohung für die Stadt ist das Ältestengehirn, das Grotash entfesselt hat.
True. His mistake was choosing the wrong allies. Ketheric was reliant on his god instead of his own strength, and Orin does not understand power and control. Only blood.
Ja, das macht mir so zu schaffen bei der. Grotash ist nur ein weiteres Hindernis, das sich uns in den Weg stellt. Wir werden ihn töten.
Given his position in the city's power structure, that may be easier said than done. I advocate for caution.
Ja klar, ich mache
I
das
am
Schauwachen
reluctant to
platt.
share power. But if he is amenable to it, an alliance with Gortash may be beneficial. Together, we can teach this city to fear us. And that is just the beginning. When we have all three Netherstones and control the Elder Brain, all of Faerun will have reason to fear us.
Das ist so dein Ding? Komm mit!
There's no space for me.
Ja, ich schaff schon
I
Platz.
suggest you make one.
Ja, scheiße. Ich komm wieder.
Good travels. I'll be waiting.
I'll be waiting. Ja.
I received a dispatch from the Grove.
Aha,
Life carries on there in our absence, just as nature intended.
okay.
My chosen successor, Francesca, has proven to be a wise choice. Perhaps the wisest I ever made as Archdruid.
Okay. Spielt eure Erfolge nicht herunter. Ohne euch wäre der Schattenfluch immer noch mächtig.
One grand victory may not be enough to absolve a host of small failures. That is where true leadership lies. Not in winning a single vast battle, but in fighting 1,000 smaller ones. Making 10,000 difficult decisions. Finding balance where none seems possible.
Ja,
Day after day.
ja.
I was all too eager to surrender my responsibilities towards the Grove. Perhaps I was never meant to be Archdruid. To be a leader.
Ihr habt dem Hain gut gedient und eine würdige Nachfolgerin gefunden. Niemand könnte mehr von euch verlangen.
Still, though, I cannot help but wonder if there was more I could have done. Perhaps, Oak Father willing, I may yet have the chance someday. Forgive me. The Shadow Curse occupied me so entirely and for so long. I almost missed the purpose it gave me. Now I must find a new one.
Shatti.
It can't have been easy for Will to resign himself to the Pact. But I'm glad he chose his father.
Was hast du wohl?
Twice Mazoras held my feet to the fire, and twice was I burnt. But my father will live. We will return the Grand Duke to his people. And forever a devil's leash will choke me.
Was ihr getan habt, war richtig. Uneigennützig.
That means a lot. But understand, I don't plan to wallow in self-pity. More than anything, I'm elated that there's hope yet for my father. We should hurry to this mystery prison and retrieve my father before Mazora tries pulling more tricks.
Ja, aber du bleibst diesmal hier. Dann mal los. Wir haben einen Herzog zu retten.
This prison's in the lower city. Let's move.
Ravengard ist nach wie vor infiziert. Wir können ihn retten, aber heilen können wir ihn nicht.
We will knock him out if we need to. Or restrain.
Your skull vibrates in concord with the astral prism.
Bring me to your Duke. I will shield him, as I shield you.
Why would you do that?
Better to bring him into the fold than to leave you distracted by regret.
Well then, I'm not about to say no. Anything more we should discuss?
Großherzogin Stelmane wurde anscheinend ermordet. Kanntet ihr sie?
I met her twice. The first time, I was a boy of 7 or 8, at a banquet in the Flaming Fist's honor. One look and I was smitten. Chestnut hair that flowed behind her like willow fronds, as she floated from one room to the next as if carried by clouds. The second time, Stelmane was different. Even with the aid of a cane, each step she took was a struggle. Every word she spoke took great physical effort. A stroke victim? I asked father later. No, he said. A stroke survivor.
You sense uncertainty in Will's voice. He questions his father's explanation.
Ich meine, da steckt noch mehr hinter der Geschichte. Endlich kriegt das mal raus.
Something's always gnawed at me. At the banquet, Stelmane didn't seem to look at us, but through us. But that second time, her gaze never left me. It was steel, sharp and unyielding. It could just be my imagination, but I always felt that it was more than a stroke that had changed her. What, though? I couldn't say.
Klingt, als ob sie zu früh gehen musste. Was für eine Tragödie.
Not a tragedy, a calculated cruelty. Think about it. My father was tadpoled. Stelmane is dead. The people are frightened and the council's in disarray. To exert control, you must first sow chaos. A tyrant's strategy, as father would say. These murders aren't random acts. Someone powerful is guiding the killer's hand, and the city is made weaker for it.
Minthara.
Why the stunned face? You look like you've seen a devil.
Will hat seine Seele für seinen Vater geopfert. Wehe, ihr haltet euren Teil nicht ein.
I'm a woman of my word. Go to Gortash's secret prison, and I'll help you spring Will's daddy free.
Aha.
Of course, you could always leave him to rot. But that would make Will's sacrifice worthless. And I know you wouldn't want that.
Was habt ihr mit Will vor, wo der Pakt jetzt ewiglich besiegelt ist?
Focus on the elder brain. I'd hate to clog that infected head of yours with needless details.
Oh, erzähl mal. Ich trau mich nicht, ey. Aber die, meint ihr, die greift mich an? Ah, komm. Ah.
Will's a gifted hunter, and Zariel's made her share of enemies in and out of the Hells. Devils, demons, deserters. They're a great burden on the Lord of the First. Clause G, Section 9. Targets shall be limited to the infernal, the demonic, the heartless, and the soulless. The clause still holds. As long as Will doesn't tug on my leash, he'll be stalking only the wickedest prey. It's a win-win.
Schön. Vergessen wir das.
You have the best ideas.
Ihr habt Karlach am Leben gelassen. Wolltet ihr nicht ihren Tod? Was ist geschehen?
Ugh, you are an inquisitive one. I'd have thought you'd figured by now. Zariel found new use for an old battle axe. The dead three in that bulging brain of theirs are a threat to more than this trifling city, you know. Savor her company. Who's to say when Zariel might change her mind? My mistress can be so capricious. The 9 hells of Beator, each its own domain, each with its own archdevil to rule it. I call the first hell my home, Avernus, my mistress Zariel's realm, a torrid battleground split by the bloody waters of the Styx. How I adore it, the delicious agony of it all. The other 8, well, they are pleasures unto themselves. Perhaps I'll show you myself, if I deem you worthy.
Ihr habt mir nie erzählt, wie die Absolutisten euch erwischt haben.
Correct. I didn't. If you must know, I was scouting the cultists on behalf of Zariel. but those cursed shadows were thick enough to fell even a half-fiend. I woke in that damned pod. It kept my body sealed and my most powerful magic silenced. But a brave, kind, benevolent soul set me free. Gallantry isn't dead after all.
Wenn ihr bleibt, müsst ihr im Gegenzug auch etwas bieten.
Why? I'm supplying Will with every scrap of his infernal power. I've paid my dues many times over.
Der hat da aber die Seele für
I tell
verkauft.
you what. When the time comes to squish that big baddie of a brain, I'll lend you a hand.
Aha. Das sagst du? Ich habe da aber noch nie was von gemerkt. Sariels Schutz. Ha. Lässt nicht los, das Biest. Euli. Hier war der Platz von Helsen vorher. Ist der arme Kerl einfach obdachlos. Hockt hier immer im Nacken von Mentara. Mann, warum müssen sie so ähnlich heißen? Gut. Tja. Warum pennst du mit offenen Augen? Bist du Gandalf oder was? Oh.
How did you? Oh, it's you. I must have let my mind wander. Enough for you to wander in. Forgive me. I am drained. Ever since you killed Ketherick and took his netherstone, the Chosen's control of the brain has been brittle. Its rebellion against Orin and Gortash has been fierce, even as it executes their final orders. Once those orders are complete, there is a good chance it will break free.
You feel the Emperor's fear as if it were your own. An elder brain enslaved is one thing. An elder brain unleashed will be the end of everything.
Beautiful, isn't it? The mighty Prince Orpheus, contained in submissive slumber. Come. You may as well sit a while, now that you are here. Your company isn't unwelcome.
Was macht ihr da?
Trying to guard us. The brain is restless, but I am distracted, and my lack of focus is endangering us. I'm haunted by memories. They are relentless. I can think of nothing. No one else.
An wen denkt ihr?
Duke Stelmane, or Belin, as I knew her. I wasn't ready for her death. You thought you were my first ally. Far from it. I have long sought the allyship of others. It is the only way to succeed. Though my relationship with Belin was different from my relationship with you.
War es intimer?
In a way, but not the way you're thinking of. In life, she was my business partner, back when we ran the Knights of the Shield. A difficult task for a mind flayer. Duke Stelmane trusted me, and the city trusted her. I conceived the plot, but Berlin took center stage. It was she who met with the merchants, politicians, and patriarchs. It was she who negotiated deals and signed off on agreements. Her rooms played host to the most important conversations in the city. Together, we brought order to chaos. At its height, everything that happened in that city went through the shield. Through us. I could not have done any of it without her. Just as I cannot do any of this without you. But now, she is gone.
Wüsste ich nicht, dass ihr ein Gedankenschinder seid, würde ich sagen, ihr seid traurig.
Astute as ever. You think that mind flayers are soulless husks who feel nothing. Berlin thought the same at first. You are wrong. Feeling is vital to the pursuit of anyone's goals. Even a mind flayer's. Like you, mind flayers know fear. Like you, we crave recognition. But unlike you, unlike the others of my kind, I am no slave to either. My end is and always has been freedom. Berlin understood this. Berlin became my freedom.
Mhm. Das war aufschlussreich.
I am glad you were able to learn something. Another quake. The brain is rebelling again. I need to focus.
Okay. Sag mal, was,
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
ja, zeig mal, was hast denn du hier für ein... Von Wonne durchtränkt. Die Kreatur ist bei psychischen Würfen im Vorteil und bei mentalen Rettungswürfen im Nachteil. Ich weiß nicht. Beim Würfeln...
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Hatte das immer geholfen. Ja, also hier das Ding. Ach ja.
I brought my own paring knife. Now I just need some ingredients, and I'm gonna make something really good, I promise.
Deine Heterochromädie, die macht mich fertig. So, hat keiner was von denen. Gut. Ja, dann war das mal eine ganze Folge nur im Lager. Krass, ne? Könnt ihr sehen. Deswegen habe ich letzte Folge davor abgebrochen. Ja, was ist passiert? Ja, wir haben Will Mensora überlassen. Jetzt im Nachhinein frage ich mich, ob das eine gute Idee gewesen ist, weil ich würde es nicht gern sehen, dass Karlach explodiert. Ne? So, und ich weiß jetzt nicht, im Blind Let's Play haben wir den Vertrag gebrochen. Ich habe eigentlich damit gerechnet, dass die sofort den Vater hier freisetzt. Nö, die sagt uns nur, wo der ist. Super. Klasse. Also muss ich trotzdem runter in den... Ach, kotzen könnte ich. Wisst ihr, das ist ja mit den... Oh, Ne? Ich bin jetzt so weit gekommen im On a Run, weißt du, und ich würde jetzt so ungern bei so einer bescheuerten Quest, die rundenabhängig ist, draufgehen. Na egal, im Tactician Run hat es auch hingehauen. Da habe ich es nur wieder genauso gemacht, habe ich ihn wieder den Vertrag brechen lassen. Ja, würde ich jetzt auch immer wieder so machen, weil bringt ja nichts, muss ja sowieso runter in das Gefängnis. So. Und auf der anderen Seite mache ich mir jetzt Gedanken, dass Will am Ende nicht die Freiheit besitzt zu sagen, Karlach, ich gehe mit dir runter, damit du nicht explodierst. Ja, im Tactician Run bin ich mit Karlach runtergegangen, beziehungsweise Will war, glaube ich, auch mit dabei, weil ich eine Beziehung mit Karlach hatte. Und dann gehe ich natürlich mit ihr in die Hölle, ne? Ist ja auch klar. Diesmal wird das nicht hinhauen, weil ich ja mit Lizelle was laufen habe. Ja, und ich bin eine treue Seele, ne? Deswegen. Bei Schattenherz, die ist da offen im Geiste. Da kann man ruhig mal hier auch die Teufelin ficken oder mit den Drow-Zwillingen Spaß haben. Ihr habt die Reaktion von Lizelle gehört. Also, die ist da wenig von begeistert und deswegen, ich werde auch die Pfoten von Minthara lassen. Obwohl ich das gerne täte. Ist schon ein Leckerchen, der Teufel. Na gut, wie auch immer. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Und ich wünsche euch was. Bye, bye.